Do you know what this is? It's a flute, and it's actually a piece of bamboo that you can find almost in every country in the world because people have built these things everywhere, and they play them everywhere too. You probably don't want me to play it right now, so I'm not going to do this. But if you think about it, took somebody to craft this, and it took somebody to play it, and so it took skills to make it and also skills to play it. And then a little bit later, 200 years later, maybe in the time frame of this being produced and this being produced, this is a plastic one from Yamaha, and you all know Yamaha. And this is actually interesting because now for just a few bucks, I can mass produce this and have it everywhere. But then we're getting into this little device, and I don't know if you see it on the screen here, but what I have on the screen is actually GarageBand, and I only have to push the button, and if it works, it plays. Okay, so I recorded that, and I can automate this and replicate it, and I have a whole band in my pocket and can do this. And that's where we are. I think when you look at the picture, we see the horse. And thank you, Mattia, for having the horse on your first slide as well. And then we're getting into this conceptual artist drawing of a vehicle of the future. That is, of course, not reality. But what I was most amazed is that when let me see if it works. Okay, so when we look at about the future, there's Peter Drucker. You all know Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker is was an amazing person, business related, but he and I like to bring up his quote because it sounds so smart and makes me in association smart too, I hope. So the way to predict the future is to create it, said Peter Drucker. And you see these futuristic pictures of robots are coming to your door or vehicles. But last night, you already heard it, there was actually a robot that helped us. And I don't know if you can recognize it, but this is a robot, and I'm hopefully not stealing too much, but it's from Starship, and somebody already created the future, so we're already here. So we're constantly evolving with automation. And when you look at about automation, there's a big question about individual airborne mail, and you see the carrier pigeon. And I don't want to associate the carrier pigeon with this nice map in the background and assume that this guy can fly all the way across to America. Probably not. But when we look about the carrier pigeon, it was a very unique type of transportation for mail. It was only used in exceptions. And today we have the drone, which probably also is only going to be used in exceptions. But it's not the mainstream automation that I'm thinking about. What I think will be mainstream is related to how we deal with data, big data. So data that comes from all sort of sources. So we need the tools to collect the data, and we need to determine data accuracy, and we need to also process and analyze all this data and then share it. So if you think about the automated vehicle in the future, it's massive what is needed in terms of detecting where those vehicles are so that I can send now my vehicle to do shopping errands for me, or I can have my vehicles loaned out in an Uber kind of way to transport other people around, or I can have my vehicle deliver packages. So my vehicle can become a new delivery vehicle for postal or parcel. And that's one of the things that we need to look out for. What are the different delivery mechanisms that we have in postal? So if you think about today, if you live in an urban area, you probably have at least 3 or 4 trucks come by in your neighborhood to deliver packages. Is that efficient? Why do we have 3 or 4 trucks going the same way? Wouldn't we want to consolidate that somewhere and have one truck come out and deliver? So, well, you're probably laughing because there's so much competition, but there's also a revenue model here. So maybe we actually consolidate this somewhere and then bring it in. So maybe we'll hear more about this today, who knows? I like to bring up one of the buzzwords because also buzzwords make me sound smart as well. So the Internet of Things. Wow, the Internet of Things is really too big to comprehend. And if you look at this picture, there's so much stuff on there, and all this data from all the sources. Do I really care what's in my refrigerator right now? So at the CES, they showed the video where you can see what's in your fridge from your workplace. And yeah, I want to see if my son drank all my milk, so I actually have to go back and buy something before I go home. But maybe some other ways too. So what I really care about is the Internet of my things. And that is a lot smaller. And the Internet of my things are the things that I really care about. And if you look at this, there's one thing missing, and I don't know where are all these things right now. And location analysis, bring it back to mapping, is really critical. So that's why we have maps and why we have analysis, because everything we do in postal, everything we do in our world is related to spatial, to actually a location in the world. And it brings me to GIS and the tools that you today have available in postal. And there are some of you here, like Swiss Post, who are really using most of these already. And it's about address management and crime analysis and all these tools that help you in automation. But one of the key things on there, I believe, is also route and optimization of workforces. So that's the route optimization, but also site selection for new parcel locker boxes. So what is coming? So I believe, and this is of course a very subjective prediction, that self-driving vehicles will be mainstream within just 10 years. And we'll see those on the road. We already have the Google cars and conceptual vehicle, but driverless vehicles will be mainstream within 10 or 20 years. So the difference is that with the self-driving vehicles, I still have a driver that can take over the wheel. And we'll see a significant increase in all aspects of postal and logistics. And then we also, I think, will be seeing this consolidation of packages. And I had a discussion at the Post Expo with somebody that actually was already working on this. So optimization and driverless delivery, I'd like to hear your opinion about this as well. Thank you.